These boys bothering you?
Thanks for the ride. But I was just wondering.
But you should go with a full stomach and a good night. And I've no one to leave it to who does.
Yes, my bowling head! Oh, God, that hurts!
Take another step, or I will blow your ancient ass to kingdom come! This is an 80-year-old woman who's dying.
The story began in Bighorn Ridge, Montana, where an elderly woman named Ellen Cole was seen carrying an oxygen cylinder. Meanwhile, Police Chief Winston and his deputy Henry caught a young woman named Abby stealing food supplies from the Bighorn County Mart. While checking the stolen items, Winston found a small box. Abby explained that it contained her late father's ashes, making Winston sympathize with her. When he asked why she had stolen the supplies, Abby said she was traveling west and only had the $90 her father had left her. Feeling sorry for her, Winston asked Henry to drop her off at a nearby gas station. At the gas station, Abby tried to hitchhike but was approached by two henchmen working for the local Mafia boss Duke. One of them, Kyle, offered her a ride, but after sensing something was wrong, Abby refused. The men began harassing her until Ellen arrived and told Abby to get into her truck.
Must have slipped.
Abby drove while Ellen sat beside her. During the drive, Abby thanked Ellen for helping her. Ellen asked where she was going, and Abby said she was traveling to Mexico to see Machu Picchu. Ellen gently corrected her, explaining that Machu Picchu was actually in Peru. Ellen took Abby to her home. Inside, Abby noticed a photograph of Ellen's late husband, Avery. Abby asked Ellen to drop her off at the highway so she could continue her journey to Peru, but Ellen insisted that she stay for a meal first. She asked Abby to bring some macaroni from the basement pantry. While downstairs, Abby discovered a hidden trap door, which left her curious. Later, Abby saw Ellen smoking marijuana on the balcony and asked about it. Ellen explained that she had started growing it after Avery became seriously ill. When Abby asked if she had ever had children, Ellen said that she and Avery had met too late in life for that. Ellen then revealed that Abby's father had helped around the house after Avery passed away, and she was deeply saddened to hear about his death. Abby explained that her father had become an alcoholic after Duke's construction crews had begun destroying the creek on their property. Heartbroken by the destruction, he had gotten drunk one day, hit his head on a dam, and tragically drowned in just 12 inches of water. The scene then shifted to a ruthless and greedy landowner named Duke, who enjoyed seizing the lands of helpless people. He arrived at Ellen's ranch with his arrogant assistant Clay. Duke offered to buy Ellen's property because it was located in the middle of town, where he planned to build a resort and clubhouse. When a cup slipped from a tray, Ellen grabbed it instantly, astonishing both men. She firmly refused to sell her ranch, declaring that as long as she was alive, it was not for sale at any price. Duke warned that the resort would open the following summer, whether she agreed or not, before leaving in anger. Humiliated by Ellen's refusal, Duke ordered Clay to kill her and seize the property. Sensing danger, Ellen packed Abby's backpack and gave her a knife for protection. When Abby asked what she would do after she was gone, Ellen calmly replied that she was alone, but not lonely. Later that night, two of Duke's men, Dwayne and Kyle, arrived at the ranch. After finding marijuana plants, they accused Ellen of being a drug dealer before breaking into the house to kill her. Ellen woke up to the sound of the door and knocked one thug down the stairs with a powerful 1-inch punch. The second attacker chased Abby. Ellen struck one of the thugs with her oxygen cylinder, knocking him unconscious. Abby managed to shoot the other thug in self-defense. Ellen rushed in and immediately took the gun from Abby, saying she would tell the police that she had fired the shot if the man died. After removing the attackers' masks, she realized they were the same men who had harassed Abby at the gas station. Ellen concluded that Duke had sent them. The following morning, Police Chief Winston and his assistant Henry arrived to investigate. Ellen claimed that she had shot the man in self-defense. Another officer reported finding marijuana plants in the barn. Ellen explained that they were for personal use, but Winston did not believe her and ordered Henry to arrest her, leaving Abby deeply worried. Now alone, Abby explored the house and unlocked a hidden trap door leading to the basement. There, she discovered Ellen's French passport and old photographs of her wearing a French army uniform, revealing that she had once been a French soldier. Nearby, Abby also found a secret arsenal filled with high-caliber weapons. Meanwhile, back at the police station, Deputy Torres noticed the tattoo on Ellen's arm and was impressed by it. One of the thugs who broke into Ellen's house the previous night was released on bail. Later, Winston threw Ellen into a holding cell. She demanded to know why Dwayne had been released when he was the one who had broken into her home while she remained behind bars. Winston coldly replied that Dwayne had posted bail. Ellen reminded him that Duane had threatened her property and that the police had done nothing about it. Winston dismissed her concerns, claiming Duane was just a kid. Ellen argued that the so-called kid worked for Duke, but Winston shrugged, saying plenty of people worked for Duke. Ellen then taunted him by saying he worked for Duke too. Enraged, Winston revealed that the police had found marijuana in her barn and had charged her with intent to distribute. Ellen warned that if the police refused to protect her property from Duke, she would protect it herself. Meanwhile, Deputy Henry, who sympathized with her, carried her oxygen cylinder to the holding cell, only to find Ellen lying unconscious on the floor. As he rushed in to help, he unknowingly walked into her trap.
You tell your agent.
Hey, Henry, how'd it go with the old lady? Oh, God, that hurts. Oh, my God.
Fuck.
Ow, fuck.
Not gonna happen.
Ellen grabbed her oxygen cylinder, escaped from the Bighorn County Police Station, stole a police cruiser, and sped back to her ranch. After arriving home, Ellen told Abby to leave immediately, warning that Duke's men would soon arrive and that she would never allow them to destroy her home. Back at the station, Winston discovered that Ellen had escaped because of his deputy's negligence. Furious, he lashed out at Henry before heading to the ranch. Soon, 2 police cars pulled up outside Ellen's property. Winston ordered Ellen to show her hands, but she answered by flipping him off. She told him he could fine her all he wanted, but he couldn't force her out of her own home. Then she bluntly ordered everyone off her property. Furious, Winston drew his gun and ordered her to stay where she was. Instead, Ellen struck him with a devastating 1-inch punch that sent him flying off the porch, leaving the deputies stunned. Henry stepped in and asked Winston to let him handle the situation. Reluctantly, Winston agreed. Inside the house, Henry urged Abby to leave since the dispute wasn't her fight, but she refused and stood firmly beside Ellen. Abby then spread out a map, explaining that Duke had illegally taken over most of the ranches in Bighorn Ridge and that many of the rightful owners had been murdered. She admitted that her father, Bobby, had always tried to expose Duke's crimes, but she had never believed him. Henry sadly admitted that Bobby Cochran had been a good man, but then revealed something shocking. Duke's security team had informed him that Bobby Cochran's body had been found at the dam. Abby was horrified because the police had previously told her that Henry himself had recovered her father's body. At the same time, Clay arrived with Duke's men to deal with Ellen in his own way. Winston tried to calm him, pointing out that they were dealing with an 80-year-old woman who was already dying from lung disease. Clay replied that the old woman clearly wasn't intimidated into selling her property and reminded Winston that they both knew what happened whenever Duke didn't get what he wanted. He gave Winston 3 minutes to pull his deputies out of the house. With no other choice, Winston radioed Henry and ordered him to leave immediately if Ellen refused to surrender. Henry responded that Ellen wasn't backing down, and Abby refused to abandon her. Forced into a corner, Winston ordered Henry to come out at once. Looking outside, Henry saw Duke's armed men surrounding the ranch and instantly realized what would happen to the 2 women if he left. He refused to obey Winston's order. Devastated by Henry's decision, Winston silently signaled Clay, giving him permission to proceed however he wished. Inside the house, Henry defended Winston, insisting that he hadn't invited Duke's men there to remove Ellen from her property. Abby argued that Winston had abandoned them to die and had been working for Duke all along. Before Henry could respond, Ellen struck him from behind with the handle of his own gun, knocking him unconscious. With Abby's help, she tied Henry to a chair in the larder. Then, taking advantage of the moment, Ellen hurried upstairs and locked the door from the outside, trapping Abby downstairs to keep her safe. Upstairs, Ellen took a few breaths from her oxygen cylinder while staring at a photograph of her late husband. Outside, Deputy Wu informed Clay that Deputy Torres had run a background check on Ellen Cole. The report showed that she had moved to Bighorn Ridge in 1999 and that the ranch had been purchased under her late husband Avery Cole's name. Moments later, truckloads of reinforcements arrived, and armed guards spread out to surround the house. Then Deputy Wu revealed one final piece of information to Winston. He explained that an FBI agent had told Torres something highly classified about Ellen Cole. According to the federal database, Ellen had once been known by the codename Sword and Shield, a title given only to an exceptionally skilled assassin. Meanwhile, one of Duke's guards drove a truck straight into Ellen's house, but Ellen was already prepared for the attack. A fierce gunfight broke out as Ellen, hiding inside, shot down several masked guards. During the chaos, Macria opened a door and was instantly knocked unconscious by Ellen's oxygen cylinder. As the guards searched the house, one of them entered the basement and heard a woman screaming behind a locked door. He grabbed an oxygen cylinder and began smashing the lock open, leaving Abby terrified. Upstairs, Ellen continued fighting, while Henry begged Abby to untie him. Having no other choice, she freed him. At the same time, Ellen suddenly ran out of breath and collapsed while trying to reach her oxygen cylinder as Clay kept firing. Henry rescued Abby by slamming a guard into the wall. Upstairs, Ellen's gun ran out of ammunition, leaving her defenseless. Clay threw her against the wall and prepared to kill her, but Henry and Abby arrived just in time, held him at gunpoint, and tied his hands behind his back. Ellen asked Clay why Duke wanted her dead when COPD would likely kill her within a year anyway. Instead of answering, Clay warned Henry and Abby that Ellen was once a professional assassin, not realizing they already knew. After more pressure, Clay admitted that Duke owed a dangerous group of criminals a huge amount of money. Unless he finished building his resort before the next summer season, he would lose everything. That was why Duke desperately wanted Ellen's land. Abby then demanded to know if Duke had murdered her father. Before Clay could answer, Ellen's condition worsened. Abby rushed her to the bedroom and gave her medication while Henry stayed behind to guard Clay. Suddenly, Abby and Ellen heard a loud noise. They rushed back and found that Clay had somehow overpowered Henry and taken him hostage. During the struggle, a lantern had fallen onto the floor, setting the house on fire. Enraged, Abby opened fire, forcing Clay to flee as the flames spread rapidly. Within moments, Ellen's beloved home was engulfed in fire. Henry and Abby quickly led Ellen through a hidden escape passage just before the entire house was consumed by the flames. From a distance, Ellen watched the home she had built with her husband burn to the ground. Heartbroken, she left Bighorn Ridge with Henry and Abby in her truck. During the journey, Ellen revealed that she had never known a real home as a child. She had been taken from the streets and trained to become a ruthless assassin. With tears in her eyes, she explained that everything changed after she met Avery, and together they built the only home she had ever truly loved. Meanwhile, Abby drove to her late father's abandoned trailer, hoping to find evidence against Duke. While searching, she discovered a thick file proving that Duke's men had poisoned the cattle in Bighorn Ridge. At the same time, Duke received a call from Dimitri, who threatened him to speed up the construction and personally hand over Ellen's property papers. Abby broke down in tears after discovering the truth. She regretted hating her father during the last years of his life and realized he had been right all along about Duke's evil plans. Determined to fight back, Ellen asked Abby if she wanted to take her property back from Duke. Meanwhile, Clay grew suspicious after failing to find the bodies of Ellen, Abby, and Henry in the burned house. Elsewhere, Henry secretly met Police Chief Winston, who was terrified after his secret alliance with Duke's gang was exposed. Henry informed him that he had already told the senior officers they would meet at the station so no one would see Winston being arrested. Clay warned Dwayne to alert Duke because Ellen was coming for him. Wearing her oxygen mask, Ellen quietly infiltrated Duke's estate and silently eliminated several guards. The gunfire alerted the remaining men, who spread out to search for her. Meanwhile, Abby planted explosives on Duke's dam but ran into Kyle. Mocking her, Kyle called her as foolish as her father and admitted that he was the one who killed her father. Furious, Abby attacked him, but Kyle easily overpowered her. Abby fought back and managed to turn the tables by stabbing him with a knife. Inside the mansion, Dwayne hid Duke inside a closet and prepared to face Ellen. Moments later, Ellen riddled him with bullets. She then opened the closet and calmly told Duke that she wasn't there for him. She had come for Clay. After closing the door again, she confronted Clay and told him he had made the fight personal when he burned down the only home she had ever loved. Ellen instantly shot Clay in the hand, disarming him instantly. Clay challenged her to settle things hand to hand. Ellen accepted, threw away her gun, and brutally beat him in a fierce fight. She blinded one of his eyes, stabbed him, and finally killed him. Afterward, Ellen took Duke to Abby's Creek and asked if he remembered Bobby Cochran, the man who used to fish there with his daughter. At that very moment, Abby detonated the explosives, destroying Duke's massive dam and killing Kyle in the blast. Soon, Dimitri's men arrived and took Duke away to face their boss, who would likely kill him. Ellen let him take him without interfering. Later, Abby scattered her father's ashes into the creek he had loved so much and tearfully told him that she loved him. Next, Abby read in the newspaper that Richard Duke had gone missing after the Montana massacre. Henry had become the new police chief and visited Abby to deliver Ellen's medicine. In return, Abby gifted him a sweater, which he happily accepted. In the end, Abby and Ellen left together in a trailer and began their long journey to Peru to finally visit Machu Picchu.